You aren't in love, you're in withdrawal, you're staring at a silent screen at 2 a.m., your heart racing, your stomach in knots, waiting for a single notification to tell you that you still exist. You call it passion, but your brain calls it a neurochemical hijack. While you've been busy decorating the walls of your relationship, the room has been shrinking, leaving you with no space to breathe, no hobbies, and no identity left. You've become a forensic analyst of a person who only gives you crumbs. And today, that cycle ends. We are peeling back the mask of obsession to reveal the one question that determines if you are building a life or just painting a cage. Have you ever noticed that the very thing you call love is actually making you feel physically sick? Why is it that we have been conditioned to mistake the shaking hands of an addict in withdrawal for the fluttering heart of a soulmate in bloom? Think about that moment when you're staring at your phone, the blue light reflecting in your eyes at 2 a.m., and you're tracing back through old messages looking for a sign, a hint, or a crumb of reassurance that you still matter. Your heart is racing. Your stomach is in knots. And every second that passes without a notification feels like a personal indictment of your worth. That isn't the passion of a great romance. That is the neurochemical hijack of a brain that has lost its center. We've glamorized the chase and the longing for so long that we've forgotten that love is supposed to be a sanctuary, not a police station where you are constantly under interrogation. You aren't in love. You are in withdrawal, caught in a cycle of emotional malnutrition where you are starving for a connection that was never meant to sustain you. Today, I want to peel back the layers of this obsessive mask and look at the ancient truth that attachment is the root of suffering, especially when that attachment is rooted in a void you're trying to fill with another person's attention. Throughout this journey, I'm going to reveal the one question that will change everything. A question that distinguishes a soulmate from a soul parasite. Does this connection make your world bigger, or is it making your world smaller? If you find yourself shrinking, losing your friends, your hobbies, and your peace of mind just to keep someone else's interest, then you aren't building a life, you are decorating a cage. We need to understand that the intensity of your pain is not proof of the depth of your love. It is proof of the depth of your wound. If you are ready to stop surviving on crumbs and start reclaiming your soul's sovereignty, we need to talk about why your brain is tricking you into staying in a room that is slowly running out of air. True love is a mirror that shows you your greatness, not a magnifying glass that only focuses on your insecurities. To truly understand why you feel paralyzed by this connection, we have to look at the mechanics of what I call the gambler's brain. You see, the most dangerous thing in human psychology isn't consistent rejection. It's inconsistency. If someone treated you poorly every single day, your self-respect would eventually kick in and you would walk away because the pattern would be clear. But obsession doesn't grow in total darkness. It grows in the flickering light of maybe. This is what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. And it is the most addictive force known to the human mind. Think about a slot machine. If you knew it would never pay out, you'd stop playing immediately. If it paid out every single time, the thrill would vanish and it would become a chore. But because it pays out just often enough to keep you hoping, you stay glued to the seat, pouring your time, your energy, and your dignity into the machine in your relationship. That jackpot is the one night they finally text back with warmth, the 1 hour they are actually present, or the one compliment they give you after weeks of coldness. Your brain receives a massive survival level spike of dopamine in those moments of relief, and it mistakes that relief for love. You aren't actually addicted to the person. You are addicted to the high of the agony finally ending. You are living in a neurochemical hijack where your mind has been programmed to seek the very person who is causing the pain just to get a temporary reprieve from it. Ancient mindfulness teaches us that a mind driven by craving is never free, And modern psychology shows us that your brain is currently prioritizing a maybe over your own survival. You have to realize that their occasional kindness isn't a sign of growth or change. It is the very bait that keeps you in the trap, making you overlook the months of emotional malnutrition for a single moment of manufactured connection. When you realize that you are playing a game specifically designed for you to lose, the only way to truly win is to get up from the table and stop betting your soul on a person who only gives you crumbs. You are not a gambler waiting for a lucky break. You are a sovereign being deserving of a consistent, unwavering sanctuary. Stop feeding the hunger that is actively starving your spirit. How many times today have you played the role of a forensic analyst in your own life, scrolling through a social media story or zooming into the background of a blurred photo just to find a reason to feel safe? We have reached a point where we've transformed our most intimate devices into tools of digital surveillance, and we call it caring. But let's be honest, when you're refreshing their last seen status at 3 in the morning, or deconstructing the tone of a text message because they used a period instead of an exclamation point, you aren't looking for love, you are looking for control. This is the digital Panopticon. In psychology, the Panopticon is a prison design where the inmates never know when they are being watched, so they live in a constant state of hypervigilance. Today, we've built that prison for ourselves inside our pockets, and we've become obsessed with the data of a person rather than the soul of a person. You are forensic mapping their life because you don't trust the reality of your own. And this digital stalking is a form of emotional self-harm. Every time you find a clue that feeds your insecurity, you get a hit of cortisol that keeps you locked in a state of fight or flight, making it impossible to ever truly rest. Ancient mindfulness teaches us that where your attention goes, your energy flows. If your attention is constantly being funneled into a 5-inch screen to track another person's movements, your own life is being left completely unattended. You are becoming a spectator of their life instead of the architect of your own. We have to ask ourselves, are we using our technology to connect, or are we using it to police our own anxieties? The truth is, no amount of digital certainty can ever replace a lack of internal security. You cannot find peace by monitoring someone else's activity. You can only find it by mastering your own reaction to their absence. When you stop being a detective in your relationship, you finally give yourself the permission to be a partner again. Control is just a shadow that we mistake for safety. But real safety only comes when you trust yourself enough to handle the truth. Whether you see it on a screen or not, stop chasing the ghost of their online presence and start inhabiting the reality of your own power. What if I told you that the person you can't stop thinking about isn't actually the person you're looking for? It sounds paradoxical, but in the realm of deep psychology and ancient wisdom, we discover a startling truth. We often use obsession as a high-definition screen to hide our own shadows. In Eastern philosophy, there is a haunting concept known as the hungry ghost, beings depicted with massive, cavernous bellies, but necks as thin as needles. No matter how much they consume, they can never feel full. The passage is too narrow for the quantity they crave. This is the spiritual blueprint of obsession. You are trying to pour the ocean of your needs through a needle-sized connection, and you're wondering why you're still thirsty. We have to be honest with ourselves. You aren't actually chasing that person. You are running away from yourself. When you focus every ounce of your mental energy on someone else, their moods, their movements, their validation, you are effectively taking a vacation from your own inner void. The obsession is a distraction. It's a loud, chaotic noise you use to drown out the terrifying silence of your own company. You believe that if you can just secure their love, you will finally be enough. But the psychology of the hungry ghost tells us that as long as the void is internal, no external person can ever fill it. You are treating this human being like a drug, using them to numb the pain of your own unhealed wounds or your fear of being alone. But a partner is meant to be a companion, not a bandage. When you make someone else responsible for your wholeness, you aren't loving them. You are using them as a shield against your own reflection. The reason no amount of reassurance from them is ever enough, and why you need more and more of their time just to feel okay, is because you are trying to solve an internal problem with an external solution. It's time to stop looking at the person and start looking at the space they are occupying in your mind. Why is that space so empty that it requires a hostage to feel full? You cannot find yourself by losing yourself in someone else. Your healing doesn't begin when they finally change. It begins when you are brave enough to face the silence they've been helping you avoid. I want you to take a moment and visualize the room you are standing in right now. But imagine that every time you sacrifice your peace for their attention, the walls move 1 inch closer. This is the shrinking room of obsessive love. It starts as a beautiful, expansive sanctuary where everything feels possible, but slowly, almost imperceptibly, it begins to contract until there is barely enough space for you to breathe. Think back to the person you were before this cycle began. The version of you who had vibrant hobbies, deep friendships, and a clear vision for the future. Where did that person go in the psychology of obsession? We often fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy of the heart. You tell yourself that because you have invested so much time, so many tears, and so much of your soul into this connection, you simply cannot afford to let it go. But you must realize that you are not losing an investment. You are ending a deficit. Every day you stay in this shrinking room, you are paying for someone else's comfort with the currency of your own identity. This is the ego vortex, where your entire existence starts to orbit around the moods and shifts of another person, leaving your own life completely unattended. When you stop pursuing your passions because they take time away from checking in, or when you alienate your support system because they see the red flags you're trying to paint white, you are participating in your own disappearance. You are wearing the mask of the devoted lover while your true self is suffering from severe emotional malnutrition. Obsession is a high-interest loan you've taken out on your future happiness. And right now, the interest is bankrupting your peace of mind. You have become a ghost in a life that was meant to be lived in full color, trading your expansive potential for a narrow, claustrophobic security that isn't even real. The most expensive thing you will ever own is a version of yourself that you had to shrink just to fit into someone else's world. Your life was never meant to be a prison of one person. It was meant to be a landscape of infinite growth. If the love you're in requires you to get smaller to keep it, then it isn't love, it is a cage. Stop trying to decorate the walls of a room that is crushing the life out of you. How do you walk out of a prison when the door has been unlocked the entire time? Moving from obsession to what I call emotional sobriety is not about a lack of love. It is about a restoration of self-governance. You have spent months, perhaps years, allowing your neurocircuitry to be hijacked by another person's whims. But today, we begin the process of rewiring that system. Think about the last time you felt that burning urge to check their location or send a long, pleading text. That sensation is a physiological wave. In psychology, we talk about the 90-second rule, which suggests that the chemical lifespan of an emotion in our body lasts only a minute and a half. If you can sit through those 90 seconds without feeding the fire with new thoughts or digital surveillance, the wave will break. Healing is found in the discipline of the pause. You are not a victim of your impulses. You are the observer of them. To reclaim your conscious sovereignty, you must practice what ancient wisdom calls detachment with love. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop using your care as a tether to pull yourself into their chaos. You have to realize that the person you've put on a pedestal is not the prize. Your peace is the prize. Every time you choose not to look at their profile, you are making a deposit into your own bank of self-worth. You are teaching your brain that you can survive without the hit of their validation. We often think that breaking an obsession requires a massive, life-altering epiphany, but it actually happens in the quiet, microscopic moments where you choose your own dignity over a temporary relief from loneliness. You are essentially going through a detox of the soul, flushing out the toxins of intermittent reinforcement and replacing them with the steady, reliable fuel of self-sustenance. It's time to take your energy back from the person who isn't even asking for it and pour it into the person who desperately needs it, the version of you that has been waiting for you to come home. You were never meant to be a satellite orbiting someone else's world. You were meant to be the sun of your own. Your freedom doesn't begin when they finally apologize. It begins when you stop needing them to understand the pain they cause. We have been conditioned to fear the silence of our own company. But the final step in your transformation is understanding the profound difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a state of poverty. It is the feeling that you are incomplete and that someone else must hold the missing pieces of your soul. Solitude, however, is a state of spiritual richness. It is the glory of being alone without being lonely. When you master solitude, you finally achieve conscious sovereignty. And this is where your new love story begins. You see, the ultimate power move in any relationship isn't how much you can give or how much you can endure. The ultimate power move is being someone who could leave because you are already whole on your own. This doesn't make you cold or unloving. It makes you free. It means that when you choose a partner, you aren't doing it out of a desperate survival instinct. You aren't a drowning person grabbing onto anyone who floats by. Instead, you are two whole ships sailing in the same direction. This is the transition from I need you to survive to I choose you to grow. Remember the question we started with. Does this connection make your world bigger or smaller? In a state of obsession, your world shrinks to the size of a smartphone screen and a single person's whims. In a state of conscious love, your world expands. Your partner becomes a mirror that reflects your potential, not a vacuum that sucks away your peace. You start to see love not as a destination where you lose yourself, but as a partnership where you find more of yourself. This is the stoic path to emotional maturity, holding your heart with an open hand rather than a clenched fist. When you stop trying to own another person, you finally give them the space to truly love you. And more importantly, you give yourself the permission to be happy regardless of their choices. You are no longer a spectator of your own life or a prisoner of your own pulses. You are the architect of a sanctuary that no one can take away from you. The greatest love story you will ever write is the one where you finally realize that you were the prize all along. Stop looking for someone to complete you and start looking for someone to celebrate the completeness that is already within you.